The nationalism throughout Austria in the 19th century encouraged revolution. Different nationalities wanted their own autonomy, but most of these upheavals were crushed, including those of the Czechs of Bohemia. The Habsburg dynasty in Austria was vulnerable, but fought to keep the people under their control, although they did allow Hungary some independence since the nation's loyalty was still with the monarchy, though the control was regained with the help of Russia. Louis Kossuth was the leader of a group of Hungarian liberals who wished to make Hungary a commonwealth with its own legislature while keeping the Habsburg monarch. They were granted this wish, and Hungary had its own legislature, national army, and control over foreign policy and budget, but an invasion by Russia and Austria took back this independence. Risorgimento was an idea that came about in 19th century Italy, meaning resurgence, that encouraged nationalism and unification of the nation. It took a new direction in 1848 after the failed uprisings of the past. Giuseppe Garibaldi was an Italian general and politician who is considered to be one of Italy's "fathers of the fatherland." His nationalist goals led him to work with Mazzini, an Italian nationalist who founded the Young Italy organization in 1831. Their goal was to create a united Italian republic. They encouraged Italians to dedicate themselves to the nation. Many women, such as Castrina Belgiojoso, also pursued these goals because they believed social reorganization would provide opportunities for women. Pope Pius IX was able to regain control of Rome with the help of the French forces during the revolts of the Italian states. The Syllabus of Errors was issued under Pope Pius to list propositions he condemned, such as the separation of church and state, showing that his control reverted Rome back to conservatism rather than liberalism. In 1848, the Republicans of Rome overthrew the papal government to create the Roman Republic with a new constitution that was protected by Garibaldi. Although revolutions were spreading all over Europe in 1848, none occurred in England or Russia. This is because Russia was ruled by Nicholas I, who was determined to avoid rebellion. He strengthened his secret police and bureaucracy, and became known as the policeman of Europe. In England, the middle class was satisfied with the Reform Act of 1832, which expanded suffrage, though not by much. There were also other reforms to prevent abuses in the industrial system and to regulate conditions. The Corn Laws were repealed, keeping the people from starving. One of the results of the revolutions of 1848 was the abolition of serfdom in Austria and Germany as the lower classes and the liberal ideology gained more power. Most of the revolutions of 1848 ultimately failed to form liberal constitutions and governments. The middle class was very important in these revolutions, but they held back when the movements became more radical. Revolutionaries were originally united, but fell apart because of different goals. Most nationalities were not strong and united enough to achieve independence. However, the revolutions of 1848 did have some lasting effects, such as suffrage in France and the abolition of serfdom in Austria and Germany, and liberal goals were able to be solidified by the end of the century.